AJ here with ProLine. Let's talk about ProLine's multi-location functionality. This is not a feature that every company needs. If you just have a single location for your business, then you certainly don't need to worry about this. And even if you do have maybe multiple Google My Business locations within the same city, you could use this feature, but it may not be necessarily worth it because we do charge per location. So it's really up to you. We're not going to force you to use the multi-location if you don't need to. But if you have multiple locations in different cities, especially if you have different pricing because you have different suppliers in those different cities, you're going to really benefit from ProLine's multi-location functionality. So right here on the projects page, we can click up here at the top and we can actually filter down the view on the projects page by city. So this is one of the kind of the first high level things about this location feature. And if we go into these individual projects, we can see that the location is marked here on the project. Now, if we go into our company settings, we can also see that we have locations here as well. So we have a default for the account, but then we also have the office address for each location, and then location name, and then we also have review settings. This is so that we ask for people to leave the review at the right location for where their project is based. So this is sort of the technical pieces of it, but there's some really cool stuff that ProLine does in the background based on having this information like your office address. And one of those is that when you go to create a project in ProLine and you start typing in an address, so there's going to be the default location here because it doesn't have any other information to go off of. So that's why we do have that default. But as I start typing in an address, and I have a couple addresses pulled up here. So this is one in Athens. So we have 178 Spruce Valley Road. So if I start typing this in, Spruce Valley Road. So ProLine does have that address auto suggest, which makes it really easy. So I've selected this address, and if I scroll up, I'll see that ProLine has automatically chosen the Athens location. And this is a very cool, very big time saver where you don't have to worry about manually sorting your projects by location. ProLine's going to automatically pick the right location based on the address. And if your locations are close together, you might end up with some that you wish were at another location. ProLine's basically just taking the distance, and just whichever location is closest is the location that it's picking. But if your locations are not right next door to each other, this is generally going to be perfect and always get it right. So we do have this auto location select here, and then another way that this comes into play is on your business reports. So if you're looking at marketing, sales, or cash flow, you can filter by location. And so that's going to allow you to see the performance of a specific location relative to the other locations. And then other places where this can be used is on your quotes. So you can actually, you don't have to, there's this sort of company defaults. This is for the entirety of the account. But then you do also have the option to use unique quote templates and pricing for each location. So if I wanted to have a unique set of quote templates and pricing for one of my locations, I can do that. And then for projects in that location, they'll use that location's pricing and that location's quote templates. And then to make this easier, I can also duplicate from the defaults and or reset it later. That way I'm not having to completely rebuild everything from scratch. So that's really helpful. And then this is also in play for orders. So I can have a unique set of order templates for a location. I'm going to make sure this is off here. And then, so for quotes and orders, invoices this time, we haven't seen a need to break it down by location. Invoices are automatically going to show the billing address for the location of the project. So up till this point, we haven't seen the need to really separate it out further than that and have like unique templates. But it's something that we may add later down the road if they're needed. So that is the extent of locations. Other things here is, if you have a sales rep and they're only assigned to a specific location, then they'll only be able to see their projects in that location. They won't have this drop down here. It will just be set to a specific location. And that's pretty much everything regarding location. This is, again, not something that everybody needs, but it's there if you do need it. My co-founder, John, does have 2 locations. He has a location in Savannah, Georgia, and a location in Athens, Georgia. He serves all of Georgia, but he has those 2 home bases. And so he's using this very effectively to keep everything for those 2 locations in the same ProLine account where he's able to easily manage it. But he also has quick access to be able to drill down into a specific location and see how that location is doing, and just keeps everything super organized and separate as much as it needs to be.